And we are back. What you've been waiting for is finally arrived. The New York Yankees post-game recap. And of course, tonight's episode of the Ryan Show FM, Part Deuce, aka Part 2. And Dicky Braggs is joining me, one of the all-time Yankee fan greats. We've had him on here a whole bunch of times, including on Fox Sports Rochester this weekend. What do you think about the 7-0 opening day ass kicking that we just delivered to the San Francisco Giants, Dicky?
If I would have told you that Aaron Judge was going to go 0 for 5, could you have possibly have thought that we were going to win in such a dominant fashion?
Actually, yes. It seems as though when Aaron Judge does play bad, the rest of the team, especially the back of the lineup, tends to step up. We got a nice little playoff dose of Aaron Judge tonight, which hopefully we're not going to see. Like you said, 0 for 5, a handful of strikeouts.
The
But that's
golden
when the team,
sombrero, 4 strikeouts.
the golden sombrero, and is that the first time he's had a 4 strikeout night in a long? I heard them talking about on the broadcast that it's an
Uh,
anomaly for him to have a 4 strikeout night.
he opening day, he 9 straight opening days. He didn't go over. He had at least a hit in 9 straight opening days. I think he only had 1 4 strikeout game last year, all year. So
I mean, when you're hitting that many home runs, you've got to expect it. But Aaron Judge also is known for hitting contact. So it's not like everybody's going to talk their smack. You see Barstool Sports and all these other places making their Aaron Judge jokes. But look, it's the first game. And if anything, I'm even more confident to see the rest of the team, especially even, it wasn't like Bellinger had a great night. It wasn't like Ben Rice had a great night. Those are the three guys that I thought were going to come out swinging for opening day. But we get Giancarlo Stanton scoring from second base.
you love to see
Bizarre.
it. You love to
Not
see
something you
it.
expected.
You love to see it. Honestly, the bottom of that lineup looks great. And if Caballero and McMahon continue to hit all year, I mean that is a dangerous lineup, a very dangerous lineup. And I like Caballero a lot. I think he's gonna do a lot on the base path. I mean, just him and Jazz getting on base and stealing bases is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. You kind of forget like Volpe is rehabbing right now, but like if Caballero plays it like he is capable of playing, I mean, Volpe is gonna have a year in AAA.
And that's going to be the big question: is what are the Yanks going to do when Volpe gets back? We just saw such a regression in Anthony Volpe, both hitting and even as a fielder after capturing a Gold Glove at shortstop his rookie year. And
He's
Caballero can just do it all. Just a great baseball player, and that's how the Yanks won today. That inning, that 5-run second inning that the Yanks had was good baseball. It was poor baseball by the
yeah,
Giants. Some terrible throws in the outfield,
yeah,
which is why Giancarlo Stanton was able to score from second base.
yep.
But definitely good baseball by the Yankees, and that's usually what they're not able to do. Usually it's home run after home run, and tonight instead we got a triple by Trent Grisham, which is
Trent
also the
Grisham with the
first time the
triple.
Yanks have had a
Yeah.
triple on opening day. Trent Grisham with a triple, the first ever triple on opening day since Johnny Damon, another friend of the Ryan Show, back in
2009.
2009. That's
And
right.
that everybody remembers what happened in 2009.
We do, and especially if you're listening in Boston right now. Big shouts to our friend Johnny Damon, to all of our lovely Boston listeners right now. So
And
we got to
that's
see.
why I liked the Netflix production. I liked CC on the call. I liked, the nostalgia of it. Rizzo was on there. Despite the sports bug, that bottom screen, they like couldn't keep like, you want to know how many pitches the pitcher has. You want to know, what the count is. And they kept like going away from that to like kind of put up like Netflix visuals and stuff like that. And it was kind of weird, but I digress.
I agree. I didn't like the visuals either. I didn't even like the little scoreboard at the bottom. I thought it
Yeah.
was sloppily done for a company like Netflix that is taking all of our money. Think about how many people were just shim sham to watch the Yankees tonight. I got shim shammed out of $8. We have Gotham Sports, yes, cable to watch all the games. You can. I'm sure there's some that I'm forgetting right now that I've had to create just so that I can watch the Yanks, and now Netflix too. The first
Yeah.
ever Netflix baseball production, MLB production. So, what do you think, Rich? Is this something that we're going to get used to seeing more baseball on Netflix and streaming services, or is this something that the fans, find a way to kind of protest by not getting Netflix and draw the line there?
Well, I think this is something that they started to implement last year, but it was like, Apple, right? So Apple would get the games, and it's kind of annoying, but it would be like a random, like it'd be a Wednesday night game against, like, the Marlins. Apple would get the game. So you would think on, like, one of these prime time spots, opening day, it's the only baseball game on today, you would think it would be like a Fox or an ESPN, or, you wouldn't think that would be on Netflix. So I think Netflix is kinda good at, like, doing these one-offs. They're not really looking to, like, do a regular occurrence. They did the same thing with the NFL. They did the Christmas Day. They did, they're not really, like, they're looking to put on, like, a one-time show. They're not looking to, like, do it regularly, so I don't know how often it's gonna happen, but, like, you know, I wasn't completely upset with the production because, like I said, the announcers were Yankees, ex-Yankees, and then you had, like, uh the main guy, he was it wasn't, if you get like a Fox production, you get John Schmaltz. If you get like some of the playoff baseball, you get like Joe Buck, and they're like not always the most favorable towards the Yankees. So like the Yankees could be up 7-0, and you would say like Devers would have a base hit, and they'd be like, oh, they're right back in this game. It's like it's over, the game's over. And it's just the way that they like the optics, the way they like pitch the game. They're saying it's always like the Yankees are out of it, even though they could be winning, and I don't like
Yeah,
that
when you're Tom
bias.
Glavine, you're framing the game through
Yeah,
the lens of a guy who's had his ass handed to him by the Yankees in the World Series. We all
yeah,
remember
yeah,
1996. I believe the first start he had, he kicked our ass. But the
yeah.
second time around, we put Tom Glavine in his place. He's still traumatized.
Yeah, it's
But
like
you're
playoffs.
absolutely right.
Yeah, playoffs when you get TBS and like Ron Darling gets the call, and you're like, the guy hates the Yankees, and you're like,
Yeah,
everything is just like it could be Judge hits a grand slam, it doesn't matter the way he's like, it's a home run, and you're like, oh my god, it's like the worst announcing of all time. So at least like
yeah.
this was like good announcing. It was, it was different. I like the way they did it, but like, yeah, some of the visual stuff they need to fix 100%. And they're like throwing ads
Definitely
in
miss
there.
Mike.
Like,
Yes.
why would they need ads on Netflix? Like, what? It's like, oh, live sports ads, but only for baseball. Like, when they have those boxing things, do they have ads in that? Like, I don't, or the MMA stuff. Like, I don't think they have ads in that. So, like, why would they need to have ads? I don't know. It's like,
Going as far to advertise other shows that are coming out on Netflix. We all
yeah,
know that Jazz Chisholm loves that anime show. I believe it's called. I only know the name of it because of the Yankees, the show One Piece, and they're making
yeah,
references to it.
yeah,
So yes, definitely whorish on the part of Netflix there.
yeah,
But very good point to hear and see the greats that we all love and we're familiar with. Way better than that fool Joe Buck and the schmuck Tom Glavine. Now that
yeah,
being said, I do miss Michael Kay and David Cohn and
yeah,
Paul O'Neill
yeah.
and Flaherty and the
100%.
others, like the whole Yes crew.
Yeah.
So
But
that was a
they have
little
the best.
disappointing.
I I I'm biased. I'm a Yankee fan, but I think they have the best like announcers, like period. Like Michael Kay is the best. Paul O'Neill, David Cohn, like they're the best. Like there's nobody. They're no. I rarely watch another game like, oh my god, these guys are so good. It's like I always watch another game and then I'm like, oh, I miss the Yankees announcers. But maybe I'm just a giant
Yeah.
homer.
No, no, I'm sure, and I'm sure that they're kind of pissed too because Michael Kay is not one to hold back. I'm sure he's going to be
Yeah,
talking about it on
yeah,
his
yeah.
show how pissed off he was.
I
So
gotta watch it.
definitely,
Yeah, listen to them on sports radio because that's you'll get the real side of everything. The real. I like it.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely. So we're going to go to a quick break and actually talk about the game itself. So if you're listening on the radio in Boston, don't stop. Some people are sadists. Some people enjoy pain. Some people tie themselves up and get whipped. Well, you Boston get to sit here and listen to a full New York Yankees recap. But don't worry, we're going to talk about the Boston Red Sox too, because I think Boston might give us, I wouldn't say a run for our money, but a little more competition than they did last year, maybe a lot more. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking Red Sox and Yankees right here on 98.1 FM and a whole bunch of other stations around this great nation. Rich Bragna, aka Dicky Braggs, in studio, and yours truly, Ryan Verneuille. We'll be back after these brief messages. You're tuned in to the Ryan Show FM with Ryan Verneuille, and tonight, the great Dicky Braggs. And every year on opening day, I probably have a very similar diatribe than the one I'm about to have right now, Dicky. And I really do believe this. Call me crazy and delusional. Enough people in my life tell me that I am. But I believe that this is the year that finally the Yankees actually bring home a World Series championship. And I'm not just saying this because of a great bias that I feel and because I'm on the radio in Boston right now and Lord knows how I feel about the city. Great city, horrible people, at least if they're Red Sox fans. But I do believe with the rotation that we have, with the way that we played baseball tonight, if we can continue the pattern of not just swinging for the fences and we play good baseball and the bottom of the lineup doesn't strike out every single time and ground into double plays, I mean, we have a very solid chance right now. I think that it's a shoo-in for us to get to the World Series. There's no excuses this year. I don't know how we didn't beat the Blue Jays last year. I know they look good, but between every and not just that, but it's a prove it year for Aaron Boone. It's a prove it year for Brian Cashman, who finally has put together a team that won't let us down, a team with depth, a team that has so many outfielders that we can't even take out our young stars out of AAA because we're so packed. And they
Yeah.
proved it tonight. The outfield tonight proved it by, no errors. Even if Bellinger was, I believe he had one hit, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
like Bellinger, was the Bellinger in LA that he was, but he still earned the $156 million, I think. So I don't know. This could be the year, Rich. I look at Cam Schlittler. I look at Garrett Cole. I look at Carlos Rodon. And tonight we got to see our new ace, Max Fried, who, even though he lost a tick on his velocity, as we're about to get into, looked like the ace that we need. It looks like we have a 1-2-3 punch that has just as much potential as the LA Dodgers. So tell me, Rich, am I biased, or do I have good reason to believe that this is the year we finally win the World Series?
For all of the reasons that you said, I think that you're 100% correct. I think that you made valid points across the board of why there shouldn't be an excuse for the Yankees to represent the AL in the World Series this year. Now, that being said, there's a lot that goes into it. Health obviously is one of it. But getting back Garrett Cole, getting back Carlos Rodon is going to be a huge get. And then kind of figuring out where these other starters shake out and who is going to make up this bullpen. Because I have a feeling that the bullpen today is not going to be the bullpen by the end of the year. I think that there's going to be a lot of young guys that are coming up, and I think that there's a lot of power arms in the system that could end up being in the bullpen for this late stretch once we get
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this Yankees bullpen right now, because you mentioned that it might not be the same bullpen. We mentioned the starters for this year. The four starting pitchers logged in right now: Fried, Schlittler, Warren, and Weathers. We know that's not going to be the same. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, there's injuries. We're going to see Rodon and Colin. But as in, for our relief pitchers right now, we have our closer, David Bednar. I think he's a solid stay. I don't think
lock.
he's going to be
He's a
replaced. We
lock.
brought him here
He's
for a
not.
reason. We
He's
haven't
locked.
traded for a reliever besides David Bednar. I mean, is it ever is the stat, or years? It's been a long time. Maybe Wetland.
Well,
Or I guess I don't think we traded for Chapman, right? Didn't we pick up Chapman in free agency?
we picked him up in free agency, traded him, and then picked him up again.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly, we traded him to the Cubs. He won a World
They won,
Series, picked him up again.
and then we brought him back. Yeah. I mean,
So
Bednar and Duvall were at the midseason. So was Jake Bird. All three of those guys are to be high high situational bullpen guys. So Bednar is locked in. You don't have to worry about him. He looked great in the WBC. I'm sure he's going to have a great year. Duvall hasn't been great since we picked him up. He was an all-star with the Giants, and he looked okay tonight. Jake Bird looked good tonight. He was horrible when we picked him up from the Rockies last year. So they sent him down like right away. He wasn't even a factor at all at the end of the year. So I think those three additions last year are going to pay dividends this year. And then we have some other guys. There's guys coming. Like I said, I think the bullpen they're gonna piece it together for now and try parts and not give guys too much rope. But I mean, once Cole comes back and once Rodon comes back, then you have Weathers, who hasn't had a history of staying healthy, but he has really nasty stuff. It's like he's young. Would you think about moving him to the bullpen because he's a lefty with a real power arm? Luis Heel, who's in AAA, eventually you're going to need a fifth starter. Does he come up? Does he move to the bullpen? You got Clark Schmidt coming back at some point, probably in August. What do you do with him? I mean, there is a lot of arms to go, and not enough innings, but there's a lot of arms to go around. So it's a good problem to have. I mean, from a talent depth wise, I haven't seen a Yankee team this deep and this talented in a very long time. It's kind of
In
like,
years.
yeah, Ben Rice has a better year than he had last year, which everybody's assuming. Austin Wells was not very good last year. If he has a better year this year, I mean, you're looking at like a 1 through 9 lineup that could look like that '09 lineup where you had Robinson Cano hitting what, eighth? So,
Yeah,
I
that's right.
mean, yeah, I get excited about that part. It's like this team, if it stays healthy, could be one of those special teams without question. Just at the depth and talent, it's 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 a lot of people complained about running it back, but like when you look at this team, this isn't running it back, and this team they won 94 games last year. That's a very talented team. I'm not upset about it at all.
No, and all the young players are developing. This is now a team that's congealed. A team that last year there were a lot of new guys, like you said. A team that has chemistry. I saw that when Jazz Chisholm was mic'd up. A team that takes accountability and realizes what they did wrong last year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got faith. This is the first time in a while, like you said, they're running back a team with all the core ingredients right there. So this is different than just building a super team. So to me,
Yeah.
this is the best team that Cashman's put together. And yeah, did he spend a 300 something $1 million to put together? Yes. But it wasn't like he did in '09 where he just went out and signed all the best players in free agency. There were tactful moves that were made. Development. Matt Blake really is that nice as a pitching coach. So, we touched up a little on this bullpen. Jake Bird, Bednar. Um, I love Fernando Cruz. Like, we talk about this every year. Blake just finds these gems, that the guys that have a few amazing pitches and really just brings out the best in them. And if he
We
does that
traded
with Weathers,
we traded for him. We traded for Fernando Cruz. He was on Cincinnati. He was in the Shervino trade. Um,
and he was nasty. Like when he was
yeah.
with Cincinnati, I remember looking at his highlights and just an intense guy, like somebody that
Yeah.
you want on your team coming out the bullpen. So,
Every
we
pitch that comes out of his hand, it's like the hardest pitch he's ever thrown. If you like the way he gives off that energy, it's just like, and he's one of those guys that also screams when he's throwing the ball. He like releases and like has like a grunt. It's like I always like wondered what it'd be like going up against one of those guys because like the grunt doesn't necessarily match like the pitch. It could be a changeup, but the grunt comes out the same. It's kind of interesting.
It definitely is somehow, and every time he does that grunt, it makes him stronger. It has to. I think there's science that proves that if you make some type of a noise, what like a grunt, when you're hitting, swinging, throwing, whatever it is, it brings out a different type of energy about it. So I'm a fan of the grunt. Keep that
Like a
up,
tennis
Fernando
player.
Cruz. Like a tennis player, yes, they do it almost every
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
the Yanks have this like incredible depth, like you said. Ryan Yarbrough had flashes of greatness last year. He's coming out of the bullpen. Tim Hill, another guy that was just horrible with the White Sox, another gem in the rough that they found, came out and,
Yeah.
and pitched in key moments with the Yanks last year. Now, when it gets to a point when guys are going to come back from injuries, you mentioned Luis Heel possibly going to the bullpen. He has the stuff to be a great closer if he keeps the velocity on his fastball. Do you see him ever maybe either being the setup man or even replacing Bednar down the line, a guy with that much potential that won Rookie of the Year in his first full season? Or do you think that it would be a waste to not have him out there as a starter and get a solid 6 innings out of the guy while we
I
still
think
have him young?
I think they have a weird relationship with Luis Heel. I don't know that the organization loves him, and I don't know that he gets along with the organization. I don't know that he gets along with Matt Blake. There was some weird stuff at the end of the year. He was last year. He was like openly admitting that he wasn't trying to throw hard, and he was like coming off of injury, and it was just like not saying the right things. And then even this year, it's like he's he kind of like can't keep his mechanics. So like he gets like lazy with his delivery and then becomes very hittable. So like he's it's like he's not like I don't know, incentivized enough to like put the work in to really like care about his craft. So like I don't know if he'll be like a high situation closer like that, but like he could be something. I mean, maybe he could be a seventh inning guy, but I know he sees himself as a starter, especially after winning a rookie of the year. I mean, and he thinks he's best suited. So for me, it just kind of feels like he's going to be that guy that, is not going to be on the Yankees after this year.
which is a shame because his value is definitely diminished. If they had traded Luis Heel after his Rookie of the Year season, we would have gotten something good out of the guy.
Yeah.
And now it seems like the relationship is disintegrating, like you said. It's not the same Luis Heel. Very upsetting, but I guess we'll see what happens. I would like to see them do something with the guy because it would just be anyone that comes from the system and does well. I like to see do well and stay as a
Yeah.
New York Yankee and remain as part of the team. So Will Warren, we talked about Will Warren actually on Fox Sports Radio this weekend, and I just got nothing but faith in this guy because we've watched. He's another one of these Matt Blake gems that they've just been developing for a long time. What is the ceiling this season for Will Warren? Do you see him remaining as a top 3 pitcher, or is it natural for him to go back down to 4, 5, or even find his way out of the starting rotation when Garrett Cole, Luis Heel, and Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt all arrive?
So I think if he maintains what he did in the spring, his spot in the rotation is going to be locked, but it's not going to be 3. He's going to be 5. Um, you know, because Cam Schlittler is here, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to have an incredible year. So with Will Warren, I think is probably safe. If he pitches like he did in the spring, he's more than safe. He's going to be the 4 or the 5 in the rotation, locked in. But I mean, what does that mean going into the playoffs? What does that mean? I mean, once you hit the playoffs, you're going to have 3 guys. You're going to have Cole, Fried, Schlittler. I mean, and then everyone else is just going to kind of get in line.
So, what this is a question I had. I want to actually ask you last week. When you look at Cam Schlittler, who you have so much faith in, who all the Yankees faithful have faith in, what is it that separates him? Because him and Luis Heel are 2 young pitchers that each had a great first season. Cam Schlittler didn't win Rookie of the Year. What is it that separates these 2 guys? I know they have they both throw heaters. It's not like they do have kind of a similar dominating kind of style where it's like they're overpowering batters. I guess Schlittler throws a little bit harder than him now,
Yeah.
but what is it that separates Schlittler and gives you so much more faith in him than Luis Heel, who already did win Rookie of the Year?
Well, this will go to Boston, right? He's a Boston kid. And you saw in the playoffs last year when he went up against Boston, the lights didn't shine too bright and he dominated them. Luis Heel got his chance in the playoffs and did not pitch well. Control is an issue. Schlittler doesn't have that problem. His control, he has his pitches honed in, and he can rear back and throw one-on-one when he needs to. I just like his composure. I like his moxie. He's got a little bit of edge to him. He, like I said, he's a Boston guy, and he was getting it from everybody going into that game from Boston that he was some sort of traitor. And and he told them that Boston sucks. Even though he's a diehard, long-lived Boston guy, he's on the Yankees, and because of that, you love guys like that, especially being like a homegrown talent like that. They weren't that high on him last year. They weren't sure what he was going to be, but then when he came up later in the year, I mean, he dominated. He wasn't up for Rookie of the Year because he didn't pitch enough. Um, this year, I think he's going to cement himself as a top 3 without question. I mean, and the only reason he wouldn't be a top 2 is because we already have Garrett Cole, we already have Max Fried. I think he steps in above Carlos Rodon, and I think he dominates this year. I think his stuff is that good. I think his composure is that good, and you can see even in the spring, like he really worked. He really worked on his craft. He's developing, secondary pitches and they're plus pitches. So with that, it just gives you a lot of confidence in the guy every time he's towing the slab.
Yep. And before we go to a quick break, I will say it makes you wonder about Cam Schlittler's legacy. Like you said, a Boston great, and those from the area have been watching Cam Schlittler. So it's a testament to the greatness of those pinstripes. A homegrown Boston kid with that type of fierce loyalty toward the New York Yankees. Let that sink in, Boston. You're listening to the Ryan Show FM, and we love Cam Schlittler here. Dicky Braggs is
Yes,
in
we
studio. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Red Sox. We're going to talk about who they're putting out on the field. They made some pretty great acquisitions, if I do say so myself. I love Ranger Suarez. To me, super underrated. Hate to see him pitching for the Boston Red Sox. We're going to get into the Red Sox lineup, what they have to offer, might as well while we're in Boston. And we'll give good reasons as to why the Yankees are about to kick their ass all year long. Don't go nowhere. We shall be back. It's not easy playing for the New York Yankees. We talk about Cam Schlittler having such great success in pinstripes. Not everybody's built for it. Not everybody's built for the pressure, for those intense moments, for the greatest fans on earth cheering for you, who you just don't want to let down. But there's one guy. He's pitching for the Boston Red Sox right now. In fact, he just signed to a contract, a 3-year, 75. Oh, wait, or was that his last contract? I think was a 3-year, $75 million contract with the Cardinals, which has now been restructured upon his trade to the Boston Red Sox. That's right. Sonny Gray, former letdown of the New York Yankees, is going to be pitching for the Boston Red Sox. And there's been a slew of new additions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you fear the you know what talking Sonny Gray, who's already taken some shots at the Yanks in a few post signing pressers? What are you thinking about this, Rich?
I don't worry about Sonny Gray at all. Sonny Gray was so happy to get traded to the Yankees. He talked, "Oh, I'm so happy to be here," and he was absolutely horrendous. Now he goes to the Red Sox. He hated the Yankees. Oh, okay. He's just it's theater. It's theater. All that matters is when he gets on the mound. And when he gets on the mound, his stuff is good, not great. And it'll show. I'm not worried. He's got a pitch in Yankee Stadium. You think that that's going to go well for him? I do not.
I've got to agree. I think he's going to be nervous. He's going to be scared, and he's probably gonna pull
And
some.
who's he going to be going up against? He's going to go up against Fried? Is he going up against Schlittler? I mean, it's a long day. That's a long day in my opinion, for Sonny Gray.
It is, and they have gotten another former Yankee, one that actually I enjoyed his stint with the Yanks. Another one of those once a Yankee, always a Yankee guys, and that's Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Another guy who's actually taking shots at the Yanks, but Isaiah Kiner Falefa I think was a great addition. So let's look at Let's look at the infield that Boston has going into this year, starting with their catchers. I guess we got Carlos Narvaez and Connor Wang. Um, and then they recently
What?
signed Wilson Contreras, and they
Yep.
now have Caleb Durbin in the infield as well. And of
So
course,
Caleb Durbin and Carlos Narvaez are both Yankee farm system guys.
that's right. That's right. Thank
Yeah.
you, Boston. Or you're
Congrats.
welcome, I should say,
Thanks.
Boston. Um,
Yeah. What are they? The Mets? They're just signing up all these ex Yankees.
I
Congratulations.
I do think that they're going to play right. See, that's the thing is that the pressure's just turned down a notch in Boston. It really is. The expectations lowered.
I
Roman
don't think their
Anthony.
ownership cares anymore.
We look at the outfield,
Roman
Rich. We've
Anthony,
got
he's going to
arguably
be
a
very good.
superstar in Roman Anthony, who looked great in the WBC. I mean, he's just got it, man. He does. I hate to admit it. Obviously, hate to admit as a Yankees fan, but Roman Anthony is looking pretty nice. What is the ceiling on Roman Anthony for his career, in your opinion?
Um, Roman Anthony is going to be good for a very long time. It pains me to say it. It really does. But he is going to be good for a very long time. I think if you want to give a comparison offensively, Mike Trout.
Oh wow! So you're
I mean,
those are some
he
very powerful words there, Rich. To call
yes,
him a Mike Trout,
yeah.
generational. I mean, Mike Trout
Yeah.
was the best player in baseball for years.
Roman Anthony has that. He has that ability. I mean, he's super talented. Super talented. Now, do they have a team around him? Not really. Does ownership care about winning? Not as much as they used to. Um, but yeah, Roman Anthony is going to be good and good for a long time. He's young. He's a stud. Yeah, he played great in the WBC and he played great last year. And I think the ceiling is as high as possible for the type of talent caliber that pedigree that he has.
And he's playing in the outfield alongside of Jaron Duran, who I appreciate him. I appreciate his fire. He's a character. Says a little controversial things from time to time, but he's a Red Sox that I enjoy
Just a little.
a little bit. Masataka Yoshia, I think I'm saying his name right, who's actually I
Yeah.
was hoping that the Yanks would have signed him back when he first came to the States. He's been a nice little surprise for the Boston Red Sox. So look, they're looking pretty decent. A lot of people, a lot of analysts are actually ranking them higher than the New York Yankees, into which I'm saying keep smoking crack because it absolutely makes no sense to me. I look at their bullpen. Chapman may be the best closer in baseball, him or Edwin Diaz. To see him come back the way he did last
Mhm.
year and pitch the way he did, disheartening as a Yankees fan yet again. But and also Weissert. I like Weissert coming out of the bullpen for
Another
another
ex-Yankee.
ex Yankee. I loved him on the Yankees. He has some nasty stuff.
Garrett Whitlock, their best bullpen pieces, Greg Weissert, Garrett Whitlock, Aroldis Chapman, ex-Yankees.
See that?
They lost. Yankees lost Garrett Whitlock to Rule 5 draft. For whatever reason, they didn't protect him. For another high leverage guy, very good arm. Greg Weissert, I don't like Greg Weissert. I think he sucked with the Yankees, and I love when he implodes against us, which happens quite often. So, Chapman the same. I'm not worried about Chapman. Let's get into the playoffs and watch him implode again.
It
Perfect.
does
Love
tend
to
to
see it.
happen. It does, right? We've seen it, except
I
in
think
Chicago.
the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox. When you really think about it, right? So who they lost Alex Bregman. They didn't get anything really for it.
And Devers
They
because of that. Like the way I look at it, that was a
yeah,
twofer. You lost Rafael Devers trying to sign Alex Bregman.
yeah, yeah. And you got 1 year out of him. Went to the Cubs. So I don't think that they'll be better. Their pitching should be better, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to be better than they were last year. I think that second, third place fight wild card team. I think that's in line. I think that's where they're going to be. But I don't see them like blowing the doors off the East and winning 100 games and being the clear cut favorite in the East. I just don't see it. And then same with I think the East is going to be very competitive. Like even people aren't really giving the Rays any chance, and the Rays got a lot of young talent. Like I think it's going to be another competitive year for the East, and I think that you could see 3 teams in the playoffs from the East.
That is very possible. Some people even suggesting that 4 teams. Is that possible? I think 4 teams could technically, right? No, no,
I mean, I guess
because the
technically,
wild card. Yeah,
no,
I
no,
think 4 of them technically could. If
yeah,
we'd have to look that up, but yeah, this is easily the strongest division in baseball. All
yeah,
4 of those
yeah.
teams
I think
are
so.
solid. And you
Yeah,
say that the ceiling might be lower. Like I look at the best move that the Red Sox made in the last decade is trading for Garrett Crochet. The guy is just so nice. And for him to come out as the ace of the team with Sonny Gray, who we all know and hate, Connolly Early, I believe, is there, and then Ranger Suarez. Like it's a pretty solid rotation.
yeah. That's good rotation for sure, for sure. I think that they have, like I said, I think they have talent. I think they're better. I think in some aspects they're better than they were last year. In some aspects they're worse. So how does that play out? Do they have a lot of depth? If they have injuries, how do they recover from that? It's something that you got to wait and see.
It's a good
But
point.
I do see them, second, third in the division. I don't see them as a clear cut favorite for the division.
I think you're correct, Rich. And we're going to be able to watch the Boston Red Sox if you care and you're listening in Boston. Um, actually, by the time you're listening in Boston right now, the game's already happened. They'd have already taken on the Cincinnati Reds. And I don't wish them well. So I want to get into some other teams. I know this is a post Yankees recap. Let's close up a little bit about the Yanks and then talk a little bit more, one last segment about what we have to look forward to in opening week for Major League Baseball. So overall, to kind of like close out this game, I don't think it could have started any better. Minus Aaron Judge being 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Minus paying $8 so I could watch the game on Netflix, getting Shim Sham by Netflix. Overall, a great opening day. What are your thoughts? Any takeaways that we missed out on before we get into the rest of the games that are coming up? Dicky Braggs.
My takeaway from the game is it went as good as I possibly could have imagined. I think Logan Webb is a very good pitcher. He led the league in innings last year. Didn't have one. I don't think he had a game where he got beaten up like he did today. He had 6 earned runs today. I think that didn't happen for him all year last year, and he looked sharp in the WBC. So, I chalk it up to the Yankees hitters had a plan and they stuck to it. They got on him early and they got on first pitch hits. I think 7 of their hits were on the first pitches.
Oh wow.
So from there, they had a good game plan and they stuck to it, and I'm happy. And as it stands right now, We have the best record in baseball. We're the we're the only undefeated team in baseball. So yeah, I'll take it.
A scoreless appearance by Max Fried, Logan Webb, and also I got to say big shout out to Logan Webb because they could have taken him out of the game, and he stuck with it after that 5-run second inning and still came out great. Logan Webb really is actually a great pitcher. So it's a testament, like you said, to
Yeah.
the Yankees
Yeah.
sticking to the game plan. 7 first pitch hits, like you said. I love it.
Yeah.
And Aaron Boone, no blunders in any way. I mean, I just, man, I got a good feeling about this year. And if these guys really, if Aaron Boone is such a player coach and they love playing for this guy, this is the year to play as good as you goddamn can, because I'm not sure he's going to be around if the Yanks have another disappointing season. So we shall see.
No, and that I yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge thing. If they underachieve this year, I think it's curtains for Boone.
I think so as well. So other games to look forward to, and games to not look forward to, we're going to get into. Look, I even enjoy watching the bad teams. I love baseball so much, Rich, that I'll even watch White Sox games and you know uh, Angels games, looking for some like sparks of hope and some gems that are hidden in the rough. And we're going to go through a few gems that are hidden on some of these different teams when we get back from another segment to close things out. Remember, Dicky Braggs about sports, and you can hear him on his podcast. Simply go and find and follow him on Instagram to see all things Dicky Braggs. And remember that he's quite often on this program and on Fox Sports What's Going On as well. Did I miss any places that you're going to be at, Rich, that I should send them to?
I don't think so. I think we got them all.
Fair enough. Don't go anywhere. This is the Ryan Show FM, and we shall return. And we are back closing out a baseball segment on the Ryan Show FM right here on your favorite radio station. Dicky Braggs is in studio, and we're just kind of glazing over other games that are going down, opening MLB series that are happening and unfolding in front of us. And there's a few that stand out to me. Of course, we're in New York right now, Dicky Braggs and I. So what stands out to me right here, Pirates versus the New York Mets. So the Mets got better. I hate to say it, Rich. I really do. As we see, they got a couple of pitchers now to a 1-2 punch that could rival most teams. What do you
Yeah.
think with the addition of Peralta and Nolan McLean stepping up and looking like he could potentially be rookie of the year? Uh, they've got now Bo Bichette. They seem to have cured the locker room cancer, the fighting that was going down between Nimmo and Lindor. Apparently, there was this huge beef that was going on behind the scenes. Alonso and his awkwardness is gone from the locker room. What is the ceiling for this year's New York Mets?
To be determined. I mean, it really comes down to how good their bullpen's going to be. If Devin Williams and Luke Weaver can keep that Yankee form, I mean, then they're going to be good. I think the additions, Bo Bichette, Marcus Simeons, I think those are going to be very good for the team. And like you said, they had some locker room cancer, with Jeff McNeil and Lindor and Nimmo, and they were just kind of like fighting the old guard versus the new guard. And now I think that it's Lindor and Juan Soto's team, and now they can build chemistry around that. So I think that the team's going to be good. I don't know how good. I think they're certainly going to be better than last year, and let's say maybe that's a playoff appearance. Do they rival the Dodgers? No, I don't think so. But you know, that's why you got to play the games to see how it goes. I do think that they are going to be much improved in a lot of areas. So
It's definitely a better team on paper, and we'll see what happens. It just seemed like
yeah,
a more fun team 2 years ago. I love the infusion of Latino culture in baseball. I truly do, Rich. It just seems so fun
oh yeah,
between the fans and like the players. They just seem to care a lot more. So I like a team that is run behind the scenes by Lindor and Soto more than look. I understand. Nimmo and Alonso and those guys. They just didn't seem like a fun group of guys behind the scenes. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
yeah.
I suppose that like you said, we're just gonna have to see how it plays out this year. My prediction is
Is
that
it
they
Ske-
lose to the
is it
Dodgers.
Skeens versus Peralta? Is it
It's
Skeens versus
Skeens versus
Peralta?
Peralta to start things off this year.
That That's box office. That's box office, showdown right
That
there.
is a showdown, and
You gotta pay good money to watch that game.
yes, and I would pay $8 on Netflix, honestly, to watch that game. These scumbags with these Netflix things, but yeah, I think it will be on SNY if you're trying to watch it.
Is that a day game?
I believe that it is indeed. Yes, it's actually it already went down. If you're listening to this on the radio right now, the game's already over. They played at 1 o'clock at City Field, and
So how do you let me ask you a question. How do you feel about opening night, right, was Yankees, Giants? How do you feel about opening day being, like, for the MLB being a night game versus a day game? Doesn't it, like, feel better when it's, like, opening day is a midday game? It's, like, the first game of the season. Like, didn't it feel a little off being a night game?
absolutely, there's just something about a day game at 1 o'clock p.m. There's something about missing work. There's something about just putting baseball before everything else, not waiting till the day's over to watch it. That's why I hate watching the night games. Like just for viewership in itself, I guess it started at 5 p.m. out in LA, an 8 p.m. game. But yeah, I agree. I would much rather it be in the daytime. Baseball is played better during the daytime. Nothing like some actual natural sunlight.
I
But
I agree.
but they did do a good production. At like case in point, you made some really good points earlier about how fun they made it with Netflix in general. Before we get off the Mets and the Pirates finally made some free agent acquisitions that you would never expect from a team that is constantly booing their owners, and for good reason. An owner that really doesn't seem to care much about the Pittsburgh Pirates and how their production on the field is. But they signed Brandon Lowe, they signed Ryan O'Hearn and Ozuna. So they've actually added some talent, and it looks like super prospect Connor Griffin will eventually arrive at shortstop. Do you see Pittsburgh actually finding a way to fight into the playoffs and to the top of their division this year? Or is this just going to be a letdown for Pittsburgh?
I mean, I even in their division, I see them finishing 3rd. I don't see them usurping Milwaukee or the Cubs. I think honestly, I think it's the Cubs division to lose. And I think Milwaukee's still young and good. Um, so I think they'll be more competitive. Now, it kind of makes you wonder, right? Why are they being more competitive to try and make Paul Skeens happy? But like they're not gonna be able to afford to pay him when he becomes a free agent anyway. So, more likely than not, they're gonna end up trading him before he becomes a free agent because they're not gonna be able to pay him, and that's really what it comes down to. That Pittsburgh's owner doesn't have the money to pay for these, big ticket items. So, while they increased their payroll and they brought in some competitive players, will the team be more competitive? Yes. Does it ever bring them to a situation where they're gonna be challenging for a championship? I don't believe so.
So if they change the salary, or if they change, put a salary cap in baseball, and they do have a strike at the end of this season, which some are predicting that there's going to be a baseball strike, how does that turn out for the Pirates and other small market teams that can't afford big players? Do you see the Pirates standing a chance at re-signing Paul Skeens if the league essentially forces, salary caps into the league?
I don't I don't think that the players are ever gonna agree to a salary cap. Um, and that's gonna be a big sticking point. The only thing is that if they have a salary floor and a salary cap, right? So I think that these small market teams with the owners that don't have as much wealth, they're going to stay around the salary floor. They're not going to be at the salary cap. So while it just means less salary for the players, and that's really what it comes down to. Soto's $800 million deal, Otani's $700 million deal, like those deals aren't going to be able to happen anymore. With that, I mean, are they gonna get rid of deferrals? Are they gonna how are they is a deferral gonna count against the cap? How's that gonna play out? But I don't think that you're ever gonna see a time where the players agree to a salary cap because that's just capping their salaries. It's not capping how much money, teams can spend because the majority of the teams that are complaining about it aren't gonna spend at the cap level anyway.
It's a good point. I think a ceiling floor makes way more sense for baseball. I'm sorry, a salary floor. Um, because then they're going to be forced to spend money. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't spend money and you wouldn't want your team to be better. Wouldn't it generate more revenue? Because if not, then there needs to be way greater changes in baseball than just a strike and way more
Well,
incentive for people
their
to make their teams better.
their incentive is letting the Dodgers and letting these other teams go over the apron or whatever you want to call it, so that they're paying the penalty and tax, because that tax gets distributed to the bottom teams. So these teams that aren't poor in small that are poor in small markets that aren't spending are getting that tax money from the Dodgers for overspending. So it's a broken model because they're getting rewarded for not spending.
That's crazy. That is, like you said, a broken model that needs to be fixed. And maybe that is, that is the reason for a lockout to happen in general. Seems like unfair to really all parties and especially the fans, unless, of course, you're living in LA or you're a Yankees fan or a Mets fan. So, are there any teams that you think are going to make a huge improvement? We look at certain teams like jumping from 60 wins to 90 wins. Is there a Dicky Braggs hot take for somebody that might have sucked last year? We see that the Cardinals are probably going to have to take a huge step backwards. They've lost most of their players. We know some of the teams that have lost players. Is there going to be a diamond in the rough team um, that you see improving tremendously this season?
I think I think Texas is going to be more competitive than they were last year. I think Atlanta is going to be a lot more competitive as well.
What's the deal with Spencer Strider? Is he back up and running?
Health. I I don't know. Actually, I can't answer that. I have no idea. But I know health has always been a concern with him, and if he's healthy, he's absolutely filthy.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Braves year in and year out, always doing well. Spencer Strider is starting out on the injured list, but yeah, he's somebody like a make or break in the Brave season, much like a Garrett
Yeah.
Cole. So, well, that's
Well,
good.
same with Acuna. If Acuna's gotta be healthy and gotta play the way he can play. Albies too. So
We shall see. I like the prediction. I'm going to say that I think the diamond in the rough team this year is going to be the Pirates. That's kind of why I was excited about bringing that up. Do I think that they're gonna make waves and do well in the playoffs? No, but I think they could actually squeak their way in. Skeens is just that nice, and I think he inspires everybody around him to play better. It seems like there's just like a different type of energy in Pittsburgh this year, at least from what I've seen. I've been
yeah.
paying a little bit of attention, so that's my hot take: is that the Pittsburgh Pirates.
If he gives up one run, if he gives up one run and his team doesn't score any, they still
Well,
lose.
now they've got some guys that can hopefully score a couple of runs. Let's see what
We'll
happens.
see.
If not, they'll just be our farm team, like always. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on tonight, Dicky Braggs. And I think we already
Thank you
kind of
for
let
having
everyone know where to find us. Obviously online, theryanshow.net, YouTube, The Ryan Show, News Solutions Network. And what can we look forward to about Dicky Braggs about sports? If you're a new listener hearing Dicky for the first time, what can we expect to see on your podcast?
Dicky Braggs About Sports is going to be unfiltered, biased commentary by me about the teams that I like and the topics that I like. So if you like the brash brand of sports talk, you'll love this.
I love it. I know I do. That's why you're here. I'll be tuning in as well, Dicky. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Boston, thanks for not tuning out of this show and putting something else on. We'll be talking more Red Sox too. Don't worry, folks. We'll see you next week. Love you, folks. Over and out. Adios.